at the airport and through immigrations and customs and to the gate by, was it
8:45.
8:45? So 2 hours until our flight with nothing to do. We got on our plane from Toronto to Philadelphia. That went smoothly. That may have been the last thing that went smoothly all day. We got on our plane, and then there was a problem. Okay? The storm that had occurred the night before, the trivial little storm that had occurred the night before, we got on the bus to head to the airport, and the shuttle operator said, all the Air Canada flights. I thought, oh, okay, great, well, fine, there you go. We're not on Air Canada, we're on American Airlines. It's like, well, that made no difference. So we get out, we pull away from the gate, and then we start taxiing out. And then we stop. And after about 10 minutes of just sitting there for a while, the pilot comes on and he says, well, it's very unfortunate circumstances here, but it looks like we're gonna be waiting here on the runway for a little bit longer than we'd like. And so we made it to Philadelphia, and we didn't have a lot of time. We did not have a lot of time. My luggage was the last piece of luggage to come off that plane. So I am far behind everyone else. I am just booking across the airport as fast as I can from one end to the other to get to that flight. And I make it. I make it with about a minute to spare, just enough time that I actually get to go into the bathroom, laugh about the fact that once again we've run through Philadelphia and not had a chance to see anything, stop and eat anything, do anything at the stinking airport, and we're on the thing, and I'm like, at least the flight's on time, because they're boarding and go. So we all get together and we get on the plane and we get into the plane and we taxi off the runway, and when we get out, the pilot comes on and he says, well, unfortunately, there's a little bit of weather off in one of the directions that we're trying to take off into, and it's got the flights backed up a bit. So we're gonna be waiting here at the gate, well, on the runway, for a while. And by the way, I forgot, we were sitting so long on the tarmac at Toronto that they turned the engines off. I've never been on a plane where they turned the engines off. This conserve fuel. Right? I thought you couldn't do that, but that's probably stupid stuff you learn on TV where it's like, oh, I gotta get out the tires and the compressor to fire up the jet engines and stuff. But apparently that's not a true statement, because they were able to fire up the engines and take off when they needed to. So we get out there on the tarmac, and then he says, oh, we're got a little bit of delay. I'm not sure how long it's gonna be. They're not giving us any information on that. So we're just gonna sit here for a while. And he doesn't mention it, but he turns off the engines. And I'm like, oh no, we're gonna be here for another 45 minutes, an hour. We weren't. We were there for at least an hour. And then finally, he came on and he said, well, it's still not looking good, and we don't have an ETA, and we don't know what's going on. So it looks like we're gonna be taking her back to the gate. And so they turned the plane around after an hour sitting there, took us back to the gate. And at first, they said, well, we have no idea when this flight's going to take off, if it's ever going to take off. Now, that's the first time they mentioned the possibility of completely canceling it. But we're going to let anybody who wants to get off the plane, they can get off the plane now. If they want to try to rebook another flight, they can do that. Or you can just, hang around the terminal. If we are going to continue this flight, it's going to be on this plane. It'll be from this gate, so just don't go far away. We'll let you know. We'll probably have to board fairly quickly. Or you can stay on the plane if you like, but we don't know how long. So that led to the confusion of half the people wanting to get off the plane, like me, because thinking, well, I can get in there and I can get to Popeyes and have a soda and some food or something. And then the people who are like, oh, it's too much hassle, I'd rather just sit in this comfy chair. Obviously insane lunatics. But by the time we got half the people getting ready to get off the plane, then the captain comes back on and he said, actually, no, we're going to have everyone get off the plane. And then you can go in, you can check at the gate agent, they'll see what they can do for you. We're still hoping to fly this flight. You'll have to stay nearby just in case, but there you go. So we all get off the plane. Now it's a complete clusterfuck because you know how planes deboard kind of from the front to the back, where no matter how fast you want to get off the plane, you can't get off the plane before everybody in front of you wants to get off. But when half the people on the plane have stood up and have started moving, and then suddenly the other half of the people all stand up and have to deplane, it was just like so it took forever to get off the plane. And they kept telling us, don't go away from the terminal. We don't know when you're going to have to get back on, and you'll have to get back on, or whether we're going to cancel this flight. And we were there for hours. And we did get to go over and eat because there was some food places close by, but we were there for hours. And after we got food, then after a while, they gave out free food. Free airport food. They had some chips, and they had some sodas, and they had these sandwiches, and they've been these good-sized sandwiches, which at airport prices were $11. And we got a couple of them, and I kind of felt bad about it because Michelle got one, and she opened it up, and she smelled it and realized it had tomato on it. And, she's like, the tomato. And I said, take the tomato off. I was like, no, and I hate tomato. I'm with her. I don't want a sandwich with tomato on it. Just take the tomato off. But it smells like tomato. So it's because it's got tomato on it. Take the tomato off, throw it off. There's a garbage can. So there's a garbage can right behind you. She throws the whole sandwich away. Okay, that's a free sandwich. And it's like, but it pissed me off. And no, I was not in a good mood. Anyway, right? Not in a good mood from this whole crap. Now I've spent a lot of time in Philadelphia. I still had to run through it. I still didn't really get much of a chance to stop in and try anything other than just the fastest of the fast food. Not that airport food appeals to me, but I like, if I'm going to be in an airport, I might as well sit down and eat some food and relax for a little bit instead of being churning away and grinding my stomach muscles and whatnot. So I was kind of ticked off that she just threw it away. She didn't even try a bite. Not a single bite. So I had one too. So I cracked it open and I dutifully took the whole thing apart and I opened the thing and took the tomato out just to show her, just to make a point. Right? So I can take the tomato off. And then I realized the sandwich had some sort of a tomato spread on it. Well, screw it. I'll force my way to it. I'm not going to tell her. I'll put it back here. I'm going to eat a sandwich. Take a bite of it. Worst damn sandwich I've ever tasted in my life. And I'm standing there going, how the hell am I going to throw this away in front of Michelle? I mean, yes, I took a bite. I tried it. She didn't even bother to try it. But, how am I going to throw that away and appear not to be a hypocrite? And at that exact moment, they popped up and called our flight and said, all right, flight is boarding, let's go. And everybody had to get up and return immediately. So that was my opportunity to throw the sandwich away and make it look like it was an expediency thing. And then we got back on the flight and we flew off. There were still some thunderstorms. There's still a little bit of delay, but they got us out and got us back to Phoenix late, much later than anticipated, and then we got home finally. It was an incredibly frustrating day, frustrating. It was frustrating. I was frustrated. I was flustered and I was frustrated. That's what frustrated is. It was not good. I love travel. I love going to new places. It may sometimes not seem like it, but no, I love seeing new places and walking down new streets and trying new places to eat and seeing the differences between one place and another and how the world can be different through different eyes. I love all that, but the act of traveling has become an absolute, it's hard to decide which would be more enjoyable, that or sitting on a bed of nails. I guess if the endurance was the same length of time or you had to carry a 10-ton weight, I'd go with the planes. But otherwise, it's like I think I could learn the yogi tricks and sit on the nails more comfortably than fly anymore. Doesn't mean we won't do it, but well, that is an incredibly long Tedium Unlimited, and I'm sorry about that, but I had to get that out of my system because it completes this journey. As you can see, I am wearing my Vancouver Knights Canada GT20 jersey here, complete with, let's see if you can see it or not, 333 on the back, Chris Gale's number, which is the only one they were selling. And I have discovered something in the course of this video, and that is that I will never wear this shirt while doing green screen work. This is not gonna work. I suppose I could flip it to the blue side if I really wanted to. Anyway, thanks for watching our Canada adventure, and now I promise we'll go back to the standard tedious stuff that we do, at least for now.